they were, trying to basically, they were arresting the gang truce leaders such as Dwayne Holmes. Truce is our key architect, and they arrested him for saying he stole $10 during a gang peace truce picnic, and they put him in jail and serving 7 years in prison on a trumped up $10 robbery. Okay, so that's what they started doing. They started framing up the gang peace truce, leaders, and so they were very concerned about Tupac helping facilitate these events. This is an article from Connie Brooks, The New Yorker, called The Takedown of Tupac, which actually revealed a whole lot of stuff, which was very good. One of the things she revealed is that the lawyer, when I first started talking, you might have heard me say Tupac was shot in a recording studio lobby in 1994, the end of November 1994 in New York. Well, he thinks, and he was also charged with sexual abuse a year earlier. And the person that set up that sexual abuse was a gay man named Jacques Agnant. Okay. Now, if you know Tupac's music, he has a song where he says, "Let me lace this rap about a snitch named Haitian Jack. Knew he was working for the feds. Set me up, wet me up." And so Haitian Jack is Jacques Agnant. Okay. He went by a different name in some of the interviews, like Nigel. Aliases, but he come from Haiti. He was a music promoter, and he befriended Tupac out of nowhere. He introduces Tupac, to this woman who, if you saw the All Eyes on Me movie, of course, many witnesses said, she gave him a blowjob in the middle of the club, and then she admitted in court that she did that, and so then they had sex that night, consensual sex. 2 to 3 nights later, Agnant sets up for her to be with him again, and he's with her for a bit in court. Now I have the court documents saying they both say it was that these things happened, but Tupac said this was consensual. And sorry about the racy talk in front of your childhood. So they said it was consensual. So Tupac said it was consensual. She said it wasn't consensual. All Tupac knows is that something in the drink that Agnant had given him had him just pass out a certain few minutes after he was with her, and he wakes up to her screaming at him, saying, "How could you let your friends do this to me?" And it was Agnant, an associate of Agnant's, that did something to her. We don't know what, but she proceeds to say that Tupac raped her, actually just sexually, that forced her to give him, have oral sex with him, and. They leveled a bunch of other charges in that case. Tupac, the case was going so bad for the prosecutors that the prosecutors said, we're gonna offer a mistrial because we forgot to give one picture to the defense, Tupac's defense. Tupac said, "I'm not gonna accept a mistrial because this case is ridiculous. This is a big frame up." And so right before the verdict was gonna come out, Tupac is shot twice in the back of the skull, and the bullets come out the front of the skull. Now, sorry, I'm just gonna fast forward this. This is Haitian Jack Agnant. Now, another aspect of it is there's tons of police foul play and prosecution foul play. This woman left a message saying that the police said they accidentally erased for Tupac, and it was really, she was saying, "I like the way you F-U-C-K and all that," and so they said they accidentally erased the tape that exonerates Tupac of unconsensual sex with her. But and so anyway, first thing I'll just say, Tupac gets convicted not of forced sexual, not of forced sodomy, not of assisting forced sodomy, not of attempting forced sodomy, but only of touching the buttocks of the complainant once, and Haitian Jacques Agnant touching her buttocks twice. Okay, so for that, Agnant gets a misdemeanor. Tupac gets up to 4 years in jail. It's obviously very political. They were trying to get him in jail. And I'm going to get into this in a moment, but so just before the verdict, though, Tupac shot 5 times in this New York recording studio lobby. And I have the affidavit in my book. You can see a copy of the doctor's affidavit that was presented in court, that 2 bullets went through the back of his skull and 2 bullets came out the front of the skull, and they miraculously missed his brain. So it was very miraculous that he survived that, but he was, that was a murder attempt. Now someone confessed to it. A guy named Dexter Isaac said, I was paid to kill Tupac Shakur. A guy named Jimmy Henchman Rosemont paid me a lot of money to kill Tupac Shakur, and a documentary filmmaker gave me a government page, saying that Jimmy Henchman Rosemont had agreed to work with prosecution and police as an informant around the same time, around the mid-1990s, all right? And when police came to the recording studio and talked to the security guy about, do you have any film, he said, basically the security guy said, we have videotape of the whole incident of Tupac's shooting, and here it is. And the police turned down that videotape and closed the case. So here's Tupac and Biggie. They were friends. There was not an East Coast, West Coast rivalry between them. That was manufactured by the media, manufactured by undercover agents.
Sure.
They did that versus the Black Panthers. They split up different Black Panther leaders and against each other, but in the same way with fake letters. They did that to Tupac with fake, anonymous letters saying, "Oh, of course Biggie was the one that set you up." People in prison said, "Oh, everyone knows that Biggie set you up." And they did that too when Tupac's mother, Afeni Shakur, was in prison, and Huey Newton was in prison. They were doing the same things to them with fake letters, and the FBI documents show their tactics and how they did all that. Now, I'm going to go back a little bit. I just want to show you something. If I can get this to go back. Now, this document, you can't see up here, but it says penal coercion, okay? This was Amnesty International and a sociologist analyzed what they call penal coercion, okay? Penal coercion are techniques that Amnesty International says is the closest thing U.S. intelligence has to brainwashing. Now, I would argue that they have something even closer to brainwashing than just this, but I show how they used every one of these techniques on Tupac while he was in prison to mess his mind up as much as they possibly can. And they did that to get him to turn on his friend Biggie and think that Biggie might have set up his shooting, and to get him to sign to Death Row Records, okay? Now, so, they did even more than these tactics. They also, made him have cavity searches when anyone visited him, even though they watched the whole visit. When people visit him in jail, sticking their gloved fingers up his buttocks. It was horrible what they did to him when he was in prison. They messed his head up as much as possible, so he was not the same person when he came out of prison. His close friend Jada Pinkett Smith said that. He was full of life before prison. After prison, he was just darkness because he was just so abused in prison. Now, why were they trying to get him to join Death Row Records? Sorry guys, let me get this back up.